Well, aloha there. And we're back to Siberia. We've already gone through the past history, early history of the region and what it encompasses. Now, from the Russian Empire, we're going to talk about the Soviet Union and its relation to. Okay, yeah, everything should be good. Alrighty. Soviet Union. In the early decades of the Soviet Union, especially in the 1930s and 1940s, the government used the Gulag State Agency to administer a system of penal labor camps, replacing the previous category system according to semi-official Soviet estimates. Yeah, it's estimates, not states, which did not become public until after the fall of the Soviet government. In 1991, from 1929 to 1953, more than 14 million people passed through these camps and prisons, many of them in Siberia. Another 7 to 8 million people were internally deported to remote areas of the Soviet Union, including entire nationalities or ethnicities in several cases. Half a million prisoners died in camps from 1941 to 1943 during World War II. At other periods, mortality was comparatively lower. The size, scope, and scale of the Gulag slave labor camps remain subject of much research and debate. Many Gulag camps operate in extremely remote areas of northeastern Siberia. The best known clusters included several Sevavolslag, the northeast camps along the Goma and Norilsk near Norilsk, where 69,000 prisoners lived in 1952. Major industrial cities of northern Siberia, such as Norilsk and Magadan, developed from camps built by prisoners and run by former prisoners. So it is the Soviet Union, Siberia, and Cossack family in Novosibirsk. It's the largest city and administration center of Novosibirsk Oblast and the Siberian Federal District in Russia. So it seems like during the Soviet Union, Siberia was no much as just a penal territory where they sent most of the people there, especially going to the gulags. So, let's think. Alrighty. Now, when it comes to geography, and onwards. Okay, mountain ranges, geomorphical regions, lakes and rivers, grasslands, geology, maybe climate. Okay, so it's encompassing so much of everything. Then you have the fauna with its own section, and then you should have the flora. Yeah, right here. Politics. There's a brief instance. Borders administration divisions. Yeah, it talks about all this. And it has a bunch of lists here. Major cities, economy, sports, demographics, religion, transport, culture. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so yeah, that's a good gist of everything. Most of this page is just a link to a bunch of other things because, like a lot of places, there's a lot of things that meets the eyes. So, geography. I could just skim through all of this. Actually, let me skim through the paragraph. Let's see what I'm going through. Okay. Siberia spans an area of 13.1 million square kilometers, covering the vast majority of Russia's total territory and almost 9% of Earth's land surface. Goes through pretty much Asia, culture and politically Europe, part of Russia, the zones, West Siberian Plain and the Central Siberian Plateau. East and Central Osaka comprises almost north-south mountain ranges of various ages. These, yeah, mountains extend to very high heights. It says like 9,800 feet or 300,000. I was thinking millimeters, not meters or meters. And yeah, it talks about right range, like the vertical range was essentially glaciered. Below, the active layer tends to be less than 1 meter, except near rivers. The highest point of area is active volcano. And yeah, so much so forth. Alright. Now, let me actually go into detail these pictures that they have here. So, physical map of northern Asia. The map also contains part of Central and East Asia. As you can see, Siberia encompasses a good chunk of everything, up to from Kazakhstan to I don't see Vladivostok. I take it this is just, yeah, it's just the actual geographic map of everything with a bunch of landmarks, but touches the Pacific Ocean all the way to pretty much up there, close to Moscow, where Kazakhstan would be. The view of the Hypercon Mountain Tuva, along with, was it, onto Lake Krishna and the Altar Mountains. You can see a big difference with the mountain ranges here up north and here a bit south, but still part of Siberia. It looks vast. Vast in a way where it's pretty much just a bunch of land that just stretches miles and miles. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I actually left this because this was the area event that actually happened. I'm actually go through here, see if there's any points to point out. And you have the reports along with the map, scientific investigation, and Earth impactor model from the size. I mean, damn, this shows how big it was. Asteroid comment, yeah, and there's still a bunch of debate about that, along with what's believed to be geophysical possible similar event. Okay, let me look at a similar event. A smaller air burst occurred over a populated area on 15th February 2013 at Chiblinsk. Chiblinsk. I can't remember Chiblinsky. Chelyabinsk. Yeah, in the Ural district of Russia, the exploding meteoroid was determined to have been an asteroid that measured about 17 through 20 meters. It is estimated initially mass of 11,000 tons and exploded with an energy release of approximately 500 kilotons. The air burst inflicted over 1,200 injuries, mainly from broken glass falling from windows shattered by its shockwave. And this was, yeah, 2013, so pretty much 10 years ago. It was a big thing. But here's a list of other meteor airbursts and what happened over there. There's even a bit piece about it in their own museum, which is cool to a strange extent. Other than that, yeah, there's just a lot to go through here. Like it's its own category, but it just shows that there's a lot of selective eyewitness accounts on how many of the people who stayed around there said. And yeah, even going all the way back to 1908. So actually, you know what, let me actually go through here. Yeah, let me see, because I'm actually curious, what was the response of many people in the government of the Russian Empire when this was occurred? Probably nothing, because they have to deal with a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, on the morning of 1908, yeah, asteroid approach from the east southeast and likely with a relative high speed of about 27 kilometers. Yeah. This is the largest impact event on Earth in recorded history, though much larger impacts have occurred in prehistoric times. Yeah, an explosion of magnitude would be capable of destroying a large metropolitan area. This has been mentioned numerous times in popular culture and has also inspired real-world discussions of asteroid impact avoidance. Okay, so there's a big thing. Prizes. Oh, wait. Asteroid impact avoidance comprises the methods by which near-Earth objects, NEO, on a potentially collision course with Earth could be diverted away. the Tunguska event. Yeah, that is just something to look through. 114 years ago. That's when it happened. Man, 7 a.m. Damn. That'll be a rude wake up call. But yeah, that happened around the Siberian area. The Tanashka event. But yeah, running through, this part of the geography. Let's look at the mountain ranges. From the Alti Mountains to Chersky Range, Ural Mountains, and all that. I know the Ural Mountains. The Ural Mountains are simply the Urals are. Oh wait. Are a mountain range in Eurasia that runs north-south, mostly through Russia, from the coast of the Arctic Ocean to the river Ural and northwestern Kazakhstan. The mountain range forms part of the conventional boundary between the regions of Europe and Asia. And yeah, you have a bunch of other ones here. Oh, actually, yeah, this is the Alti Mountains. Do they show this? Now they show the region. Yeah, it is. Okay, so it's part of Siberia, but it's closer to Kazakhstan, Mongolia. So I guess that this mountain range is part of not just Russia, but also Kazakhstan and Mongolia. The Himalaya Mountains, yeah. Lake Bosch, that's pretty much here. Yeah, have all this. Geomorphological regions. To Central Siberian Plateau, East Siberian Lowland, East Siberian Mountains, North Siberian, Southwest. Yeah, might as well stick with west because what is a large plain that occupies the western portion of Siberia. Between the Ural Mountains in the west and the Yensi River in the east, and by the Altair Mountains on the southeast. And pretty much it's the same picture as here. Lakes and rivers. Okay. So, what's it? The Krotsky volcano towering over. Yeah, I can pronounce it. But yeah, a bunch of lakes and rivers just pretty much here. Lena and Olb. It's just Olb. What the hell? Wow. It's just two words. Yeah, the Olb is a major river in Russia. I guess it's one of those where the name makes perfectly sense in Russian compared to English, where there's not many English two words. I think the closest thing you could say is just three words, like it was the number one, for example, which translate easy enough from Arabic when it came to Arabic numerals, but this one, yeah, it's different. Now you have grasslands. The Yukon Plateau, part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Oh, okay. There's a plateau covered by grasslands located in southwestern Siberia. In the Altai Mountains region of Russia, near the borders with China, Kazakhstan, and Mongolia. Yeah, entitled Golden Mountains of Altai as an important landmark. Alrighty. Didn't know that. So one of the big grasslands in Siberia is an UNESCO site, so that's something to remember about Siberia. It has a good amount of purpose. Now geology. Okay, so going through here, let me see. Okay. That's the climate. Okay, now let me skim through. Alright then. Damn. Okay, so with geology, the Western Siberian plain consisting most of Cenozoic elusive deposits is somewhat flat. Yeah, this mid to late Plestony Lake block the northward flow of the Ob and Yensi rivers, resulting in a redirection southwest into the Caspian and Aral Seas via the Turgal Valley. The area is very swampy and soils are mostly peatly historsol and in treeless northern part, histels in the south of the plain where permafrost is largely absent. Rich grasslands that are an extension of the Kaz steppe form the original vegetation, most of which is no longer visible. The Central Siberian Plateau is an ancient craton, sometimes named Angarland, that formed an independent continent before the Permian. It's an exceptionally rich in minerals. In minerals containing large deposits of gold, diamonds, and orals of magnesium, lead, zinc, nickel, cobalt, and molybdenum. Alright. And then, pretty much so forth. They talk a lot about everything. The Tangol is dominant, covering a significant fraction of the intensity of Siberia. Soils here are mainly turbels, giving away the spolosols, where the active layer became thicker and the ice content lower. Alrighty, and you pretty much have, what is it? A regional geographic reconnaissance study began in 1932 and followed by surface and subsurface mapping relieved the Markova Agar Arch. This led to discovery of the Markova oil field in 1962 with the Markova 1 well, which produced from the early Cabian, also horizon bar sandstone at a depth of 2,156 meters. The Centrum. Oh, shoot, yeah. Well, I don't have to go through all this. Because I think a good gist shows that from west, central, and then going further to the eastern part of Siberia has a lot of raw materials and deposits. The article doesn't explain much, but you pretty much had the Soviet Union section just talk about how it was used as a penal colony, mainly for the Gulag system. I take it that because it linked you to the Gulag system, this pretty much emphasized that, well, it's pretty much them extracting a bunch of raw materials and stuff that goes back to the economy as resources, which I wish they actually just put it there. But luckily, I know a little bit about how gulags operate and how it's a work camp because a big reason of its existence is to produce so much raw materials for the country. And it really does show how brutal life conditions were and how they needed a lot of people to extract, but they necessarily had to do them by force and not have much people to settle there. This was a case with a bunch of mining towns throughout the years of the Soviet Union where people will end up working there and then able to retire nearby the Crimea, but not anymore. And obviously it's going from Soviet Union due to modern day Russia, how that system doesn't pull off, and it shows how some of them tend to struggle. But yeah, I mean, and this is better than the Gulag system they end up having before. Jesus. But yeah, it's just so much to go through that. Yeah, it's like, back. Oh yeah, if you want to look. A flood basalt is the result of a giant volcanic eruption or a series of eruptions that covers large stretches of land or the ocean floor with basalt lava. So you have Lower Jurassic, pretty much talking about this period in Siberia region, and a bunch of other stuff. But it just goes to show how there's a lot of things in the region that it contains. So there's climate of Russia, obviously, but this is for Siberia. Oh yeah, did I go through? No, I didn't go through all the pictures. Yeah, the Vorskut Range along with the Balkro Mountain, showing how there's a lot of mountains, but they don't look quite to me, I just think of a flat, but I don't think that would be saying it justice. It's where a lot of these mountains are gigantic, that inside of it has mass, a flat mass where people could uh, camp around and go through their venture, especially the native people, local people. Similar to like, was it the people from Appalachia territory and these mountains? But the difference is like, because I'm thinking of Andes mountains like Machu Picchu is, well, that place tends to be an area that everything is quite tall and big, similar to like, yeah, the Himalayas or the many mountains in Nepal. Now let me go through the climate at least. Okay, I'm just going through because yeah, it's just a bunch of lists along with global warming. I'll just go through here. So yeah, the polar desert is way up here along the tundra. Just the cup is, oh no, the taiga, and then you have the tundra, where the tundra just goes through here. But the taiga is just, it's just sitting right here. So at least everything is not so cool, but you know, everything's just quite spacious. Along with, what is it? You have the dry steppe, temperate port. Okay. Yeah. Knowing more about, okay, how big Siberia is, but I think this is just pointing out pretty much Russia along with Mongolia, northern China, Kazakhstan, and other stands. How different it is. But okay, let me actually go through. So well, this is the climate region here in the map. Shows Siberia. Okay, so the Siberia, this is the region it encompasses. It's part of Russia. So a good way to look at it is, okay, it's bordering Kazakhstan, Mongolia, and northern China. Wait, is it northern China? Yeah, it's part of northern China. Okay, so if you look at the map, yeah, you have South and North Korea, and then yeah, you do have China. Oh, it's just something that, oh, yeah, right now in my head, I was actually contemplating because I'm like, wouldn't it be part of Russia? Due to how during World War II, yeah, pretty much around here, they had this encompassed area, especially during the end where Soviet Union actually declared war on Imperial Japan and actually did their own blitzkrieg into eastern China, conquering most of this into the area of North Korea, or what is now North Korea, where, you know, that's the reason why it's able to have this territory. But now I'm starting to realize, I think they actually gave part of this back to China, the Soviet Union. Was it part of Mongolia? I just go with China as a gift, especially since it was starting to become part of, what is it? Part of communist China. It was starting to become communist China with the Chinese Civil War ending in 1949. So yeah. But yeah, going to the map, it's such, okay, so pretty much they have the old land maps, like where you have Kazakhstan, Mongolia, and northern China, and yeah, this is where Vladivostok is, and then you have the contentious area that is either owned by Russia or Japan. So yeah, I know my stuff. So if they're saying that this is part of the Siberian area or the Siberian region, yeah, I'm gonna discount this because it was when you get to Kazakhstan, you have to cut through here because you're getting closer to Western Russia, where Moscow is and such. So I think the best case is that, okay, let me just look at the Siberian region that's part of Russia. So it's pretty much just this part. you're a good. There's still a good chunk, especially when you head more west. That is temperate, and yeah, it's not just icy cold tundra and stuff. But it actually does have some temperate, similar to like parts of uh, these United States. Like you could say like during like the around like the Midwest. Huh. And it's not totally cold. Like was it like Alaska or Canada? But if when I go through the region here, like what it was known through Kazakhstan and stuff, it's touching a bunch of dry steppe and temperate type of desert. So yeah, looks like Siberia, yeah, does have a very diverse biome than expected. It's not just all ice cold and stuff. But going through here, and yeah. Okay, so from what I understand, Moscow and St. Petersburg, they're very close to, yeah, the temperate forest area, Russia, a bit reasons that exist. I don't know about nowadays because, I mean, hint, hint, there's a topic about global warming, so it probably does show how Russia is definitely going to change in the several years, and how Siberia is going to become much a warmer place than it was back then. Which I take it for the people who do live there, it would be a nice change of pace, especially if maybe they hate the cold. Uh, I know there's not much diversity in coldness, or all that such. But yeah, I take it that it will be more temperate once climate change actually becomes a more of a dire strait. But yeah, yeah. It just goes to show that it's not all just frozen. It's not always a frozen landscape. It does have some nice weather from time to time. Alrighty. So yeah, you have climate. I've gone through all this. Don't have the time. Alright. Let me just skim through this. Vegetation in Siberia mostly consists of taiga, with a tundra belt on the northern fringe and the temperate forest zone in the south. And the climate of Siberia varies dramatically, but it typically has short summers and long, damn, cold weathers on the north coast, north of the Arctic Circle. There's a very short, about 1 month long summer. Okay, so at least 1 month long they have at summertime. Almost all the population lives in the south, along with the route of the Trans-Siberian Railroad, obviously. The climate in the southernmost part is humid continental? Yeah, continental climate. The humid continental climate is a climatic region defined by Russo German. Yeah. Yeah, what is it? With warm to hot summers and cold winters. Yeah, I know the feeling. It's. I, I could see that could be the case. With cold winters but fairly warm summers lasting at least 4 months, the annual average temperature is about 0.5 Celsius or 32.9 Fahrenheit. January averages about -20 Celsius, -4 Fahrenheit, and July about 19 Celsius, 66 Fahrenheit. Nice. While daytime temperatures in summer typically exceed 68 Fahrenheit. Okay. So it can get, yeah, -4 Fahrenheit. That would be cold. By far the most commonly occurring climate in Siberia is continental subarctic, with the annual average temperature about -5 Celsius. Okay. Southwesterly winds bring warm air from central the Middle East. The climate is West Siberia and is several degrees warmer than east. Okay, so several degrees warmer in the east, just so that there is some change that goes through. Maybe even future change. Okay, I think I do want to go here in detail next time. Because, yeah, I'm actually a lot more interested when I understand more of the climate, especially how I might like to follow it later in the future in my own time. But anyway, ugh. Do. Okay, so aloha.